Hey, good morning and welcome to How Can I Help, which is going to be a new series I'm doing for tutorials on difficult games. So How Can I Help is going to be a series where I help out showing movement mechanics, stuff like that the game doesn't really describe itself. So a prime example of this is Dark Souls. You know what, I might as well just start from the beginning. Just do a whole little run through of the whole thing. So each of the classes you start with different stats, different level, different ability points. Skill points, I guess. So, warrior, like it says, weapon expert, high strength, high dexterity. High HP, solid armor, not easily toppled. Now, what it means by toppled is there's this stat in the game called poise. And that basically means it's how much damage you can take in a row before you're staggered. Or, yeah, staggered. Wanderer, high dexterity. Thief has the master key. So the master key is this ability, or is this item that basically lets you unlock locked things within reason. I've never actually used it, to be honest. High strength, bow, sorcery, fire spells, miracles. So I'll go over. I'm gonna pick knight because that's what I'm used to. Then there's the gift. The gift is like either a consumable or just an item. So there's the Goddess's Blessing, fully restores HP and status. That's a one-time use. Black Fire Bomb, it's a fire bomb, one-time use. Twin Humanities, again, another item that you can find in game. It's a one-time use. Binoculars, you can actually find a pair of binoculars right off the bat. So it's kind of not worth getting these. The pendant, I'm honestly not entirely sure what this does. The master key opens any basic lock. The thief has that off the start. Tiny Being's Ring grants a small increase to HP. That's what I'm gonna take because it helps a lot. Old Witch's Ring. Ancient Ring with no obvious effect. It does actually have an effect. It just won't be apparent until you make it a decent way through the game. Ultimately, it's just a little more of an Easter egg if anything else. So, actually, it might actually have some use. I'm not sure. I don't feel like I've ever missed out on something by not using it. So, Tiny Being's Ring. In the upper left corner, you have your health and your stamina. Health is the red bar, stamina is the green bar. These numbers beside those, that is your humanity. Now, humanity is something that you can find as a consumable item. I don't know if I start with any. No. You'll find it as a consumable item, or each zone also has a designated enemy. It's like the signature enemy for that zone. I believe this still is relevant in the remaster as well. That designated enemy, when you kill them, I believe it's either a chance or after you kill a certain amount, you get a humanity. That only happens up until you beat the boss, I believe. I'll go over this way. So this is your armor, right? You have your headpiece, chest piece, hands, and your legs slash boots. These are your rings. You can equip 2 rings at a time. Arrows, bolts. Arrows for using bow and arrow, crossbows for using, or bolts for using crossbow. These are usable items. So you can assign items here. We'll get to that when we get the Estus Flask and everything. That's a later thing. This is weapons. So right hand. So you have 2 slots and you can switch between them. This is left hand for shields or parrying items. And you can also switch between those. Now, as far as the items you have right now, the black separation crystal. I'll get to that later, actually. And the dark sign. So this is something that is based on lore. If you get stuck or something, I don't know when you would actually use this. I've never used this myself. This will instantly kill you and return you. Why is my menu all messed up? Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's just scaled. Anyway, this will return you to your bonfire, and you lose everything. You die. Okay. How am I gonna do this? let's get into a more open area first. So as you go through the game, there's these little messages. This part's pretty self-explanatory. It kind of teaches you as you go, shows you camera controls, and then you can interact with these messages by pressing A. Actually, you know what? I'll just follow these. So it says RB is attack, so it'll be like your shoulder button. Oops. Push that. That's your attack.
Okay.
This is your strong attack. That's like a slash or like a stab. So your normal attack, oops, hey dude. Your normal attack uses a small amount of stamina, and you can see that by the yellow that is depleted from the stamina. When I use it, your strong attack deals more damage at the cost of more stamina. Sprinting. So if you hold B, then you will sprint. Sprinting comes at the cost of stamina, but it is extremely useful. And then, yeah, clicking on the right thumbstick. Lock-on is not always useful. You don't always want to be locked on to your enemies. That said, if you learn how to play the game without the lock-on, when you decide to use it, it is big help. Step bonfire, recover HP. What this means is that you light the bonfire. Bonfires are like your checkpoint. Come up with the bonfire lit, press the button, you rest of the bonfire. When it does that little smoky effect thing, it actually resets the entire area. So any enemies that you've killed in the zone, actually I think maybe even in the world, respawn, they come back. So of course, resting on bonfire refills your Estus, which we'll get to in a minute. Restores your health, and it's where you can become human, which is again something else we'll get to later. So we're about to come up on the first boss. But we're not actually gonna fight him. We're gonna get here, we're gonna run in, and then all of a sudden it's gonna come up with Asylum Demon. Wow! And we're just gonna duck out of there. Get your shield. Right. Okay, so shielding. Always keep that shield up. You've got a shield, use it. You see I got that shield up, locked on. I'm not gonna lock on. Locking on will also help you when you're fighting somebody like with a bow and arrow. It'll also help you not, you'll always be able to defend them. Walls degrade your weapon very fast, so try not to hit them with your weapons. Backstab. That was a backstab. So if you end up behind an enemy, you just stab them back, it's a critical hit, you deal tons of damage, and they die. Usually. So this is where it shows you rolling and backstep. Okay. The backstep is if you are standing still and you press B, you backstep. If you are standing, or if you're moving and you press B, then you roll. There's a boulder up here that falls down the stairs. Just run a bit up the stairs and then avoid it. As long as you're not running up the stairs still, it can't actually hit you, as it comes down to the side here.
An Estus flask, an undead favorite.
Okay, so your usable items are on the bottom part. And the top part is your spells, which I don't think I can actually slot yet. Rest at bonfire, replenish Estus flask. Yes. Ow. A lot of this also comes from just knowing where things are. Holding a weapon with two hands, you can block. It's not very effective, the blocking. But you deal a lot more damage when you hit stuff. And this is where it shows the kick and the jump attack. I'll demonstrate both of those now. So, kick is a forward movement. Oops. Forward movement and your light attack button at the same time. The jump attack is a forward movement and your strong attack button at the same time. Now we're gonna learn something else. This is advanced. Kind of. So your shield button, you have two shield buttons, similar to how you have two attack buttons. One is block, the other one looks like you're backhanding something with a shield. That's actually a parry. That was parry, and then you follow it up with an attack. Just a light attack button, RB, or whatever you want to push. But what you do when you're falling, he's waiting. When you're falling is you press the attack button, light attack, and you do a plunging attack. Yeah. So right there, because I was blocking and I ran out of stamina, he like, so you could see I like shoved my shield away, because I ran out of stamina for the block. You still block it, but it leaves you open for an attack. So if you're fighting like a quick enemy, that's bad, because usually they'll take away your stamina and then they just eat you alive. And look at that, we beat our first boss. The big pilgrim's key, which we can then use to get out here. And we got humanity. Let's do, go over this. This is the level up. Your stats all do different things. So, vitality. This is pretty normal. Or this is pretty, like, self-explanatory. Parameter determining HP. The higher that is, that directly increases your HP. Attunement. Attunement affects the amount of spells that you can slot. So attunement slots are basically how many spells you can use at the same time. Or rather, how many you can have slotted, equipped at the same time. Endurance, so that's your stamina, your equipment load, and resistance to bleeding. We'll go over equipment load next. Strength is required to build powerful weapons, and it boosts weapon attack. So strength increases the amount of damage you do. Almost all of these, though, you'll deal more damage. Or no, sorry, increases your defense, I mean. Whenever you put a point into. Dexterity is similar to strength, but it's for a different weapon class. Resistance is directly correlated to defense, as well as resistance to poison. I've also never put a point in that, I just realized. Intelligence is for sorceries, and it boosts damage from magic weapons and sorceries. And faith is for miracles, so like some of your healing spells and some aggressive, offensive miracles, and divine weapons. And the more humanity you have, the higher chance you are to discover items, so like drop rates, and resistance to curse. So, equipment load. Total weight of equipped items. Higher number slows movement. Exceeding max causes sluggishness. Causes sluggishness. Will it show me voice? Voice is the ability to receive attacks without breaking form. Like I was saying, how long you can go without getting staggered. So the thing with equipment load is that right now I am at greater than half. So my equipment load max is 50. If I go over 50, then I believe you're slowed to a walk. If you're over half, or half or over, then you do what people like to refer to as fat rolling, or being slow. So you don't move very fast, and when you roll, you thud to the ground. It's very slow, pretty inefficient, kind of useless. If you unequip, say your chest piece, that puts you under half. So this is what is usually the normal. This is what you want to try to attain. It's like a nice happy medium. It's good balance. Normal movement speed. When you roll, it's fluid. Good distance. Doesn't really leave you open too much. When you get under a quarter of your equipment load, you have an extremely agile roll. No movement speed, like no movement lost. Like it's just incredible. If you're doing like a dexterity or like a speed-based kind of build, do that. Okay, now I'm gonna go over attacking things. So, Left click is, I believe, a normal attack. Right click, I think, is your shield. Not 100% sure. If you're playing on mouse and keyboard, I highly recommend playing with a controller, though. Seriously. So, right attack doesn't deplete as much stamina. Fast. Good for little bits. You can get your shield up pretty fast. RT is your strong attack. Big damage. Well, bigger damage. But slower. You're probably gonna get hit. LB is your shield. Blocks most damage. LT, the backhand, is a parry. So, when you two-hand stuff, you can do the same attacks as before. So this is your light. Light's still pretty fast. It does use a chunk of stamina. It uses more stamina than a normal light attack. And then your heavy two-handed. This will still deal way more damage than normal. Two-handing is good if you ever, like, damage a boss, and or you can stun something. You've got some time before they're going to be able to attack you again. Use the two-hand. Forward movement at the same time as a light attack. So you have to be from a standing position, and then move forward and a light attack at the same time. And that's your kick. Most of the time, if you accidentally swing your weapon, it's because you moved before you pressed the attack button. Or you attacked before you pressed the move. If you sprint, and then you let go of the B button, or the sprint button, and you quickly press it again, you will jump. And that is actually used to clear gaps. So, level up, we've already done kindling. So kindling requires humanity. So humanity restores health in a pinch. You can use it while you're fighting a boss, maybe if you're close to killing it. But in general, don't use humanity to heal. It's got much better uses. Humanity is used for kindling and reversing your hollowing. You cannot kindle while you're hollowed. So when you die, you become hollowed. You can then use humanity. Once it's that number beside your health bar, go off your humanity and reverse your hollowing. And you can see this physically change because you look human. So now you're human, and humanity opens you up to the multiplayer portion of this game. You can call upon friends, or not friends, people, white signs that look like the orange advice soapstones. These ones are white, and you use them to summon your friends. But it also leaves you open to being invaded by other people, and that's where the PvP comes into play. So normally at a bonfire you have 5 Estus Flask charges. You kindle it, then you go up to 10. And once you get the secret rate of kindling, then you go up to, I think 20 is the maximum. The rest of this is just going to be like a little tutorial showing you what's around the Firelink Shrine. So this is kind of like your hub, your home base. When you rescue people, they show up here. Talk to him a bunch. He gives you a copper coin, and then if you talk to him again, then you can purchase items from him, which are your miracles. It's kind of your first miracle dealer, as well as a talisman. So magic in the game requires 2 things: the spell and a catalyst, or a talisman. As far as this goes, drop down here. There's a little section of chests down here, which is a really nice amount of starting items. No mimics. You get homeward bones, which can be used to return back to the bonfire you were last at. Morning Star and a talisman. Good for a cleric. A cracked red-eye orb. Those are single-use items. The cracked red-eye orb is a single-use item that will let you invade somebody else. And Lloyd's talisman. This shows you, I believe it's depth? No, Estus recovery. So PvP thing or for skeletons that restore their health, which does happen. Now, this is where it gets dangerous after you've done that. That shield and sword you can kind of see down there is actually enemies. They look like bones because as soon as we get down there, they're going to reassemble themselves. We're not going to fight them, but we're going to go and grab the things that are down there. So we're going to be quick and probably die. But it's okay if you die, because as long as you get the items... Oh, I guess I'll lose the souls, but as long as you get the items, then you're winning. This is a big one. This is binoculars. Oh, this is Whitehander. Hold on a minute. Binoculars are down here. Whitehander's really good to have right off the beginning. These are the binoculars. Okay, so now... Can't show you the other thing. Maybe we'll do it in like a part 2 or something. Okay. These guys... Okay, yeet himself right off the ledge. That guy throws a firebomb. Not recommended to fight him, or to fight that guy on the ground. Quite yet. Yeah, you kick. And he dies. Don't fall off, though. Then this guy that's here, you can see him. You can do one of those plunging attacks again. And he dies. But you also take some fall damage. So this is where jumping comes into play. This is where you get a Ring of Sacrifice. When you light a bonfire, that does not mean you have rested at it. You actually have to rest at the bonfire after you light it. Or else if you die, you will go back to the last bonfire you're at. Resting at the bonfire, respawns enemies. Those guys throw bombs. Be careful. Don't linger on that little cliff. There's a guy to your right, and the guy in front of you. Both have axes. They hurt. That guy's got a shield. Spearmen. You can parry them, but they're actually slow unless they're attacking. So what you can do is you wait for them to attack. And then, no, you can actually get behind them pretty easily. There we go, like that. That one, not so great because I actually took a hit. And then you just backstab them. Alternatively, you can kick to break their shield, or not, break their guard. So this guy down here, he's menacing, scary. Probably gonna kill you a lot. This is the best enemy to learn how to parry. The Dark Knight, Black Knight, whatever they're called. They have a pretty simple moveset, and it's not predictable. But they only have like 3 or 4 attacks. So, big thing with combat in this game, get them into an area where you can fight them easily. Fight them on your own terms, because they don't fight fair. This guy. We're going to parry his attacks, and we're going to kill him based off of parrying his attacks. You're going to learn his moves. Don't die, like me. And then when he does one, you're going to parry it. And you're going to get the backstab. Oops. Or the riposte. And you can't damage them while they're on the ground, but it takes them a bit to get up. You can use that as to heal if you need to. Parry him again. Rinse, repeat. Do it over and over again. These guys will kill you if you don't know how to parry. You will die. They deal a lot of damage. You're not meant to be able to kill them yet. You can learn their timing and parry them. Then it'll help you. Just like that. If you can kill those guys in the early game, it gives you a big leg up, because usually you get titanite chunks, which are used to like level up your weapons, upgrade your weapons. That guy's guarding a blue tier stone ring, which increases your defense when your HP is in critical. So this is gonna be the first boss. the forest demon, I believe. Yes. So again, stand close, sometimes you get lucky. Maybe not. But you can block his attacks pretty well. This guy does have the ability to just yeet himself right off the edge. Just like that. Well, not like that, sorry, but like if you stand in front of him, then sometimes he'll miss you. Kind of like fighting Ganon in Ocarina of Time. Dude's probably gonna kill me. Just saying. But... Whoop. So, yeah, he can backstep right off the game. Happened. I've seen it. So that broke poise. Fighting an enemy like this, or a boss like this, shield's important, at least for me, so I rarely use the two-hand when I'm fighting him. But you can see the difference in damage, like 28 versus 51 if you're two-handed. Oh, wait a minute. We're good. Wait, what? No. And we beat him! First boss. Done. Victory achieved. That's gonna be it for this little bit. That was the basics and the first boss, and that should get you pretty well through a good chunk of the game. After that, you just kind of learn yourself. I don't know what the next one will be, but there will be another one. Probably with either more for Dark Souls, because there are still more features we didn't get to, or maybe for a different game. Even one that's easier, like a Legend of Zelda or something like that. Or boss strats. But until next time.